Hi, this is Darren Moore, and you're watching me on livingecho.com.
Hey, Darren Moore. Are we ready? Darren.
Did we meet earlier?
We haven't, but I feel like I know you because I saw an interview with you where you claim to be the Eco-Jesus. So can you elaborate on that?
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So what makes you the Eco-Jesus?
Well, technically I'm the Eco-MacGyver, but I could also transcend into the Eco-Jesus. And I think I was just saying that because anybody can be an Eco-Jesus. If I'm Eco-Jesus, you could be Eco-Jesus. I can grant the Eco-wishes.
So you have your company where you go into people's homes and you check whether their homes are energy efficient and you do work. Can you talk a little bit about that? I did my research.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Can you talk a little bit about your Ecovations company?
Right there.
Ecovations, there's your logo.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So what we do is we come into people's homes or their business and we help them to make their building efficient. And then that bleeds off into so many other aspects. Like, for example, if I'm there to set up a composting facility for you, then I've got to also sell you on the idea of composting and then the lifestyle habit that goes with that. So it's not just a static thing that we do with the building, it's motivating people to change their habits and what they actually do in the building. For example, I can set up a place for you to put your shoes when you come in, because taking off your shoes is the biggest thing you can do to keep clean air in your house. But I can't make you take off your shoes. So I've got to figure out ways to kind of motivate you. And that's where I thought if I was Eco-Jesus, I could just, somehow I'd motivate you. I mean, you would just believe in me. Just believe in me and I will provide the eco-ness for you.
So how does taking off your shoes keep the air clean in your place?
When you walk through a parking facility and stuff and you step in the oil and then that sticks to stuff that you collect, I mean, you've seen how dirty it is.
Yeah.
And then what is even worse, if you have carpet like this stuff, everything goes into the carpet. So then when you hit it and you stir it up, it goes into the air. And there are all these little particles of things that go in the air, and especially now with the way we heat and cool our buildings, it stirs it up because we have forced air. You know what I mean? So any airflow just picks it up and you're breathing it in. If you take it off before you get in the house, then you're not tracking it in your house. It keeps it cleaner.
I've heard of taking off one's shoes to keep your carpet clean, but I'd never thought about it keeping the air clean, but I assume that's what it would do as well. What are some other tips that you have in terms of keeping a house eco? Tips to keep the house, cool in the summer and warm in the winter, or just tips in general that you have that most people might not know?
Right. Well, I should just start by clarifying that there are many things that you can do that are sort of temporary fixes, or they're the light green things that you can do. And then there are things that are the next level up, which are the end solution things you can do. The end solution things would be have your whole home tested with an Energy Star home performance contractor.
You do that, right?
Right, I do that. There are so many qualified, and there are many qualified contractors out there. They come out and they actually retrofit your home. They replace your heating, cooling system, all the stuff that works all that system. They get everything to work together, and then you can get your home that's drastically more efficient using less energy, and it's more comfortable. Now, there are a lot of things you can do that are simple fixes that maybe will help you, like just adjusting your thermostat, using that properly, adjusting it at the right times, like, in the winter time, not turning it down, not turning it up too much, turning your heat up too much, live with a couple of degrees of discomfort, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Same thing in the summertime. Like taking off your shoes. If you don't want to replace your toilet, which, who wants to replace a toilet, you can fill up a bottle of, a 2-liter bottle of water, or put a couple bricks, or, so you can displace the water volume in the back of your toilet tank so that when it flushes, it uses less water. Now, it may not work adequately. You may have to flush it twice sometimes, but most of the time, it'll probably work, so you're going to save water. You can collect rainwater. Collecting rainwater is really important. People go, well, it doesn't rain here that often. Well, that's why. Because you want to take that first bath of rain that comes down and it washes your roof. You want to get all that dirty sediment, it's toxins basically. You want to collect that and you want to keep it in a barrel, and then you can water it back into the ground after it's dry. Because what's going to happen is all that's going to get filtered. The dirt in your yard is a filter. If you let it overflow and it runs in the storm drain, then it gets to the ocean. So by collecting rainwater, you're actually doing something for the ocean. It's kind of ironic, I know, but just saving that first bath of water that comes off of your roof, it's like a cleaning.
So you've traveled around the world. You've lived in so many different countries. How does the United States compare to some of these other countries in terms of an eco perspective?
I'm surprised you know that too. Man, you're good. Hey, it's really difficult to compare because you have a place like India or in Asia where they're not considered developed countries, but to me they're actually more developed. In the old traditional sense, the way that they build their homes, they build out of just natural materials that biodegrade, things like that. I mean, that to me is fantastic. They ride bicycles. They don't have a lot of motorized transport. They do most everything by manual labor. But to compare to today's standards, the stuff that they're building, some of the countries like in Europe or in Australia, they're building really efficient buildings, and they've had water-saving devices and things like that for many years. Whereas some countries they're building like we used to, and that's the sad part. Paving everything, and just using a lot of resources, cutting down trees, clear cutting. Oh, man, I don't even want to get into the stories because there are places I love to go to, and I go back, and the forest that was there is gone. So
how much do you charge to go into someone's house? What do you give them, some sort of energy green certification?
I don't certify. If they want a LEED certification, then we can run them through the LEED program. If they want just to actually really implement everything and they don't need the marketing value or a label on it, then that's a totally different story. I mean, it really depends on what we're doing. I'm actually, at this event, I'm offering a complimentary site assessment. I'm going to go out to people's homes and just talk to them as to give back for the event to people that attend the event, and I've got 40 slots for people that might want to have their home retrofitted.
Very cool. Now you work with Ed Begley, don't you? Ed Begley Jr.
For Ed, first off, before I was doing the television hosting, I helped to retrofit. We did the same thing that I'm talking about, retrofitting Ed's whole house, and a company by the name of Reese Energy set up the whole program. They set up a bunch of us. I was the general contractor. It's kind of like in the old days, we had these different components of people, So we had myself, we had a heating and air conditioning guy. We all went through the same rigorous training program to learn how to do this. It was a whole 9 days. So Ed, and that goes to show you that if you have the basic understanding, you don't need years of training to get the basics of it. It's just a simple, shift. So we went out to Ed's, we re-insulated his whole house. He had all the best stuff, denim insulation. But with an old home, you have to have testing equipment that allows you to see what's going on. We had infrared cameras. We moved air through his house. We simulated what it'd be like in really extreme temperatures, and we saw where energy was moving through his building. So we tightened it up. He had like 5,000 of these cubic feet of basketball-size air that would leak out every minute out of his home. We tightened that down drastically by about 2/3, and then we replaced some of the lighting. We replaced his heating and air conditioning. We used a really small air conditioner. So now his home uses drastically less energy, but it's more comfortable. His wife can have a higher degree of temperature, in her home. Like, she can have it cooler in the summer and warmer in the winter, and she's using a lot less energy. So that was the first phase, and then after, now Ed's with his new show, Living with Ed, 3rd season of his show. He said, he called me up and said, "Hey, buddy, I want to do this remodel of my structure, but I want you to help my contractor, who's the original guy who built it. I want you to help him build it green." So I said, "Oh, this is cool. You get to work with this guy. He's like, 50 years old, who's just been building the same way." So we got him to change his thinking about some things. We did really efficient heating and cooling on that, and I took all the debris, construction debris, and I collected them. And then I sat with them at my house, and I looked at them, and I was like, what am I going to do with this stuff? Because I didn't want to take it to the landfill. So we found ways to make furniture, composting bins, fencing, different things we remade with all this stuff. So
very nice meeting you, Darren. I really appreciate you talking to me.